Hi guys, welcome back to Nerdy Chic Book Phone with Alice, and today I am doing the mid-month book freakout tag. I hope that's right, hold on. Mid-year book freakout tag. I got it right! Yay! I was practicing that before I came on video and I didn't think I was going to get it right, and I did! Woohoo! So, I was meant to do this tag on Tuesday, which was the 30th of June, but I still am really quite poorly this week. I've had a really bad cold and I've been really run down and I've been aching and sore and weak and feeling just really gross, so I was not up to doing any filming on Tuesday, so I thought I would do it today. I'm only 2 days late, so you know, we can pretend and make it work. So I have seen this book tag going around for a good week or so probably, and really enjoy watching it. Love doing them, love seeing them. I love a book tag. I love a chatty, conversational book tag. So I thought I'm going to jump on that bandwagon being a new booktuber, and I thought let's just do it, let's have a bit of fun, let's enjoy, and let's talk about some books. So there's some questions here that are written in my notebook, so I don't forget. So the first question is the best book of 2020 so far. So my best book so far has been The President is Missing by Bill Clinton and James Patterson. I think I spoke about this in my last video, I want to say. My May June wrap up, I think I wrote about this. I read about this. And this is a political thriller which is awesome and fast-paced and thrilling and gripping and wonderful, and yeah, I just loved it. It was my first James Patterson that I've ever read and I thought it was brilliant. Definitely an author that I'm going to read a lot more of in the future. Next question is the best sequel of 2020 so far. You will probably not be surprised to hear that it is Black Summer by M.W. Craven. I feel like I have raved about this book in about the last 3 videos that I've done, maybe even 4. I love this book. This is book number 2 in the Washington Post series. M.W. Craven is a local author to where I live, so all of his books are based in Cumbria, and I just love it. They are full of twists and turns and unexpectedness and gore and gruesomeness and murder and intrigue and just lots of fun stuff. If you are loving police procedurals and you love murder mysteries and thrillers, this is definitely one to pick up. The first one, Puppet Show, is equally as good. You do have to read them in order, so you have to read Puppet Show before you read this one, but I would definitely recommend them both, and I am looking forward to the next one coming out soon. Number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but want to get to. I had to think about this because I've got a couple on my bookshelves, but the one that I really do want to get to is this chunky monkey, and this is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the prequel to The Hunger Games, and this one follows Cornelius Snow, I think 60 years before the Hunger Games in the first Hunger Games book takes place. I have heard both good and not so good things about this book, but I absolutely love the Hunger Games series. I read them last year, I believe, and I loved all of them, and I got this pre-ordered for my birthday in May, it's a hardback. I don't normally like hardbacks, but I saw this and I thought it was my birthday. I am going to treat myself. So this was my birthday present to me, and I'm very happy that I have it. And this is a new release that I want to get to, and I will when I can, because I have a lot of books. The next question is the most anticipated release for the second half of 2020. I have two for this. I have a cut short by M.W. Craven, who wrote Black Summer. He is coming out in September with a book of 3 short stories, which I'm really looking forward to. And the other one is called Blue Ticket by Sophie Mackintosh. Sophie Mackintosh wrote The Water Cure, which I am wanting to get to. I haven't bought it, but I've heard it's really, really good. A lot of booktubers that I watch have raved about it and said it's really, really good. It is something that has been on my radar for a long time, so I would like to get to it. I believe the sort of standalone, so I don't need to read The Water Cure before I read this one. But it just sounds really, really good. I believe it's about a woman or women who get given tickets, and the ticket colour that they get given sort of dictates the path in which their life is going to go. I think it's a sort of near future dystopia sort of book, right up my street. So yeah, I think they're my 2 most anticipated releases. Well, ones that I could think of anyway. It took me a really long time to think of that, and they're the ones that I sort of thought about the most, so they're the ones I put down. But I'm sure if I think there's more, there's a lot more, because there's always books that I want all the time. Every day I find a new book that I fancy. Number 5, biggest disappointment. This one made me sad because I was really hoping that I was gonna like this one. This is The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. This was a real disappointment for me. I thought this was going to be a 5-star read, hands down, and I ended up giving it 2. I thought this book was rubbish. I just could not get into it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the format. I didn't like the way it was laid out. I just didn't like it. And I feel really bad for saying that, because a lot of YouTubers have said that it's a really awesome book. It's really powerful. It's really emotional and deep, and you know, it looks at 2 young boys and their mental health and their mental decline, and sort of their codependent relationship. And on writing, on paper, that sounds like my ideal book. So I don't know what it was, but something in this book just didn't click with me, and I just couldn't get into it. I did finish it, but I kind of had to really sort of wade through at the end just to get through it. So yeah, this was a real disappointment for me, and I'm sad that it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I am really sad about it, but unfortunately it's this one. It just wasn't for me. The next question is my biggest surprise books, and I've chosen 2 for this one because I couldn't think of just one, so I chose 2, and the 2 that I don't actually have with me, and that is Dead Gone by Luca Visti and The Tattoo Thief by Alison Belsham. These were 2 that I read close to the beginning of the year, and they are both police procedural murder mystery type novels, and both of them had a twist at the end that was so surprising and so unexpected, and I just never would have guessed that the story was going to end there. And both of those books really, really got me. and I had to put them down as my biggest surprises because they really were a surprise. They were like, I was dumbfounded actually. And with Dead Gone by Luca Vesti, it got to the point where towards the end I was getting a little bit sort of, oh, this is a bit boring, it's not really going anywhere. And then this amazing twist happened, and it went from being sort of a 3-star to a 5-star, like straight away, just because of this twist. And the same with The Tattoo Thief. I enjoyed that a bit more story-wise, but it was the ending and the twist at the end that really surprised me and really sort of bumped up those star ratings on Goodreads. So those are my 2 biggest surprises of 2020. My favourite new author, I have to say, is probably James Patterson. He is the co-author of The President is Missing. It's my first political thriller that I have ever read in my life, and it is the first James Patterson. Did I say Robert Pattinson there? I hope I didn't say Robert Pattinson. He's from Twilight. If I said Robert Pattinson, I meant James Patterson. Sorry, my mind is so foggy. I mean James Patterson, who co-authored The President is Missing by Bill Clinton. I did not mean Robert Pattinson, who's in Twilight, who's a vampire. No. James Patterson. Like I said, it is my first political thriller ever. It is my first book written by him that I have read, and I enjoyed his writing style. I liked the way he wrote, I liked the way he described things, I liked his pace and the way that he structured his sentences and his narrative. I just found it very easy, and I found it, good to get along with. I just enjoyed sort of the flow of his writing, and it was an easy read. If I can call a political thriller an easy read, it was an easy read for me. I understood it, I liked it. The pace was enough for me, and yeah, so he is one that I'm definitely wanting to read some more of his novels in the future. I've already got my eyes on a couple that are sort of calling out to me that I'm hopefully going to pick up soon. So yeah, James Patterson, he's definitely one I'm going to go with, and I think he's going to be up there in top authors for me. The next one, I was a bit like, really? And that's Newest Fictional Crush. Now, I'm a girl that doesn't do fictional crushes. I'll be honest. I don't do fictional crushes. I just think they are stupid, basically. Sorry, I've got a hot honey and lemon because I've got a really sore throat and I'm still like poorly. So my husband brought me up a honey and lemon for my and it's really cold here today. Like, it went from like heat wave to thunderstorms and raining and wind and horribleness. So I've got a jumper on, and I'm on my thick duvet, and I've got a blanket around my legs, and I'm drinking hot honey and lemon to soothe my throat. I feel like a little old lady. Oh, that's so good. Honey and lemon is the best thing. Even when I don't have a cold, I drink honey and lemon. It's like so nice. So, newest fictional crush? No. I'm just skipping the question. So the newest favourite character is the Little Prince from The Little Prince. The Little Prince is the cutest character that I have ever read about in any story ever. He is this tiny little boy who comes from a planet / asteroid far, far away, and this book follows his journey and what he learns from speaking to other people on other planets and what he learns about from being on Earth. And it is just beautiful, and he's the cutest, and it's just a warm hug in a book. And yeah, he is my favourite character, and he will forever have a place in my heart. I love him, I love him, I love him. The next question is a book that made me cry. You will probably not be surprised to know that it is Elizabeth from Elizabeth is Missing by Emma Healy. It is not actually Elizabeth who made me cry, it was Maud, who this book is following. This is a woman called Maud who has Alzheimer's, and she is adamant that her friend Elizabeth is missing, and she takes it upon herself to try and figure out what's happened to Elizabeth, and she can't remember a single thing. Little pieces keep coming back to her, and parts of her past are being pulled out of memory, and she kind of stumbles haphazardly across this 70-year-old murder that has happened, that she has sort of amalgamated into thoughts, present day thoughts of her friend, and it all just is kind of mismatched, and it's beautiful, and Maud is lovely, and she's just, I have grandparents who had Alzheimer's, so it sort of really struck a chord with me, this book, because of the way it's written. It is written through the eyes of Maud. It is Maud's perspective, so it is written how she is, that she is forgetful. You know, she'll go to the shop and buy tinned peaches, even though she bought tinned peaches yesterday. She has a cupboard with about 10 cans of peaches because she goes to the shop every day thinking that she hasn't got tinned peaches, but in actual fact she does. And she goes and just keeps buying tinned peaches, so all of her cupboards in her kitchen are filled with just tinned peaches. And she is just this lovely woman who has such a heart and who is really struggling with the loss of her, you know, her brain function. She's diminishing and she can't understand it, and it's aggravating her and it's upsetting her, and she hates what's going on, and she wants to make it better, and all she wants is to find a friend, and she keeps forgetting, and her memories keep getting jumbled and mixed up, and she can't figure it out. And it's one of those stories that make you cry. It definitely made me cry. I also watched the movie. They did a BBC film adaptation of this, I think last year or a couple of years ago, like a BBC TV film, and I watched that and I was in tears from start to finish. It was so emotional and so moving, and I would definitely recommend it. If you need a good cry in life, get this. It'll get you going. It will get you going. If you need to cry, just read this book. It'll sort you out for a year, I promise you. The next book, I'm going back to The Little Prince, and this is a book that made me happy. Again, I'm going with The Little Prince. It is such a lovely, cute book that I can't say that it didn't make me happy. It's such a short little book. I think it's only 106 pages or something like that. 106 pages is all it is. and he is just this lovely, cute, innocent little boy who knows nothing about the real world but wants to know everything, and he's just so full of wonder and passion and excitement, and the story is lovely, and it's so philosophical and so full of wisdom, which it was something that I wasn't expecting when I started reading this book. I wasn't expecting it to be such a philosophical novella, but it really was, and it was a shock, but in a really, really good way. So yeah, I know I've cheated because I'm using The Little Prince twice, but I don't care. Little Prince, he made me happy. Most beautiful books from this year. These aren't ones that were published this year, but these are ones that I got for my birthday this year. So I got 2 from the Pan Macmillan Library Collection, and I got English Fairy Tales and The Water Babies. I absolutely love these editions of books. They are absolutely stunning. They have the gold edges. They are this lovely sort of turquoisey duck egg blue, and then gold on the spine. They're just beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. I love the inside of them, and then the cover has got this sort of pattern. I don't know if you can see that. It's sort of like an engraved, embossed pattern on the front, and it's a lovely sort of light blue kind of colour as well. And they're just really cute little books. These have got, I believe these are the original yeah, these are the original illustrations as well. So you've got really cute, some are colourful, some are black and white, but they're all the original illustrations for each of the stories. I think there's a 12. Oh, 41. How wrong am I? I thought there was 12 in here. No, 41. They've got things like Story of the Three Bears, Titty Mouse and Tatty Mouse, Jack and the Beanstalk, Catskin, The Three Little Pigs, Henny Penny, Mr. Fox, Dick Whittington, The Wee Bannock, Little Red Riding Hood, The Babes in the Wood, Molly Whoopie and the Double-Faced Giant, The Ass, the Table and the Stick. Well, there you go. So these are English fairy tales by F.A. Steele. And I just love the pictures that they use on the front as well. So I got that one. And then another one that I got was The Water Babies, which by Charles Kingsley. And again, this is just a really cute, beautiful book. I think this one's got illustrations. Oh yeah, this one's got like sort of little black and white illustrations in it. I don't think there's any colour. Any colour ones in this? No, it's very pretty though. Black and white ones. And this is sort of classed as a what is it? It's a, they say it's a fairy tale for Earth babies or something like that. And I had a copy of this when I was younger, but I never read it. But I thought I'm old enough and wise enough to read a classic. And I saw these books. I've got a couple of these now. I've got this one, English Fairy Tales, Aesop's Fables, and Just So Stories. I'm trying to get sort of all of the sort of fairy tale books in this collection. So I've got like a collection of sort of fairy tales and myths and things in this series. So yeah, I'm just kind of one by one, or if I've got enough money, just kind of getting these. But these are just beautiful editions, and I got these this year for my birthday. And I also got this book, which was on my birthday book haul. This is The Little Mermaid and Other Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen, and this is illustrated by Mina Lima. This is one of the Mina Lima illustrated books with the interactive elements. So it's got sections of pictures, it's got illustrations in it, and then it's got sections of sort of these interactive elements. So the pages open out. Can you see that from the sun? There you go. So the pages open out on each side. Can't get that one. I don't want to rip it. There we go. It's absolutely beautiful. I've got Beauty and the Beast as well. This is, I think, is this one 12 fairy tales? This one might be the 12 fairy tale one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is the one with 12 fairy tales in it. It's got the Ugly Duckling, it's got Snow Queen, it's got the Emperor's New Clothes, and then throughout it, it's just got these. Is this the Princess and the Pea? Oh, I think I just broke that. Ooh. Please, no. Thumbelina. Oh, I just saw a naked man. That was a sight for sore eyes. I'm trying to find one of the interactive elements which are really like that'll be easy to show you. Most of them are like twisty, or you have to pull something, or this is probably the easiest one. So like here you've got this, and you pull it out and it makes little kisses on his cheek, and then push it back in. There, has that worked? Yeah, push it back in and the kisses have gone. And then throughout the book it's also got lovely illustrations, sort of just full page illustrations of the different stories. And at the beginning of each story it's got like the Snow Queen. Find that one. They're really beautiful, the Snow Queen ones. Oh my goodness, where's the start of this? There. So it's got the introduction page, and then it's got a full page spread illustration for each of the stories. So in this book we've got the Little Mermaid, the Nightingale, the Ugly Duckling, the Swineherd, the Tinderbox, the Princess and the Pea, the Emperor's New Clothes, the Red Shoes, Thumbelina, the Steadfast Tin Soldier, the Little Match Girl, and the Snow Queen. So, I mean, the Little Mermaid, that's my favourite. I mean, really? How beautiful is that? It is so gorgeous. So pretty. So they are probably my most beautiful books from this year, and I got them all for my birthday. How lucky am I? Woohoo! The last question is, what books do I need to read by the end of the year? And I've chosen 5 of these books. These haven't necessarily been published this year, but the ones that I have had on my bookshelf that I want to get to this year. So the first one is Bernardine Evaristo, Girl, Woman, Other. This was the winner of the Women's Prize for Fiction. I think it was a joint winner with Margaret Atwood's The Testaments, I believe. And this has been all over BookTube, and I mean all over BookTube. And this has been quite a lot of people's sort of best book so far and best book of 2019. I think it came out in 2019, and then it was 2020. Yeah, 2019, pardon me, it came out, and then the paperback edition was in 2020. So yeah, this has been sort of all over BookTube. It is about 12 different characters on an entwined journey of discovery, and it is following sets of 3 different women, and each chapter is following a different person in that group, and they all kind of entwine in one way or another to each other as well. And I think it's just about race and racism and what it's like to be a black woman now, and what it's like living as a black woman, and what they have to face and what they have to deal with, and you know, the positives and the negatives of it, and how they are sort of put across. And it's just really good. I've wanted to read it for a really long time. I've seen it on a lot of booktubers that I trust and love, and you know, pay attention to their recommendations because they're very similar to me in what they like to read, and 95% of them have read this and gave it 5 stars and said it is one of their favourite books ever. So, you know, I'm going on a lot of trusted individuals here. So this is one that I would like to read by the end of this year. Another one that I would like to get to is another one that I got for my birthday this year, and this is City of Saints and Madmen by Jeff Vandermeer. This is a collection of 4 novellas, I believe, and it's sort of mad and weird and wonderful. It's a chunker, it's going to take me a while, but it's mad, it's weird, it's wonderful, it's crazy, it's wacky, it's just everything that I like in a sci-fi speculative fiction with a bit of magical realism thrown in there for fun, and a little bit of horror, a little bit of snap, crackle and pop. You know, this is it. I saw this on Jessie's channel from Sunbeam's Jess, and she raves about Jeff Vandermeer, and I have got quite a lot of sort of to be read lists from her, and this was the one that sounded the most interesting that I picked up first, and I chose this for my birthday. So I would like to get to this if I can. Like I said, it's quite a chunker. It's how long is it? It's quite long. It's long, basically. Each of the novellas is split into its own page numbers, so yeah. But it's long, you can tell, see? Length. All of that. And apparently it's crazy and it's wacky, and I think there's some pictures in here, but I'm not too sure, and it's formatted differently and it's not all the same, and the writing is a little unexpected, and some of the things that are spoken about. I mean, just flicking through, I have just seen some little mushrooms, some little toadstools with faces. See? Wacky. But I think this will just be a nice sort of escapist book to read, sort of get into a different mind and just kind of float away in Jeff Vandermeer's memory and just flow, go with the flow. Just don't take life too seriously when you read this book. I think it's one of those kind of books, and right now that sounds pretty good. The other one that I would like to get to by the end of this year is The Cuckoo Wood. This is a book about a rural community in the English Lake District who has been hit by a spate of teenage suicides. And throughout these suicides, each of the girls have spoke about seeing this angel of some sort, and they're trying to find out if this angel that these girls are seeing is you know, actually an angel, or if it is something a bit more sinister who is leading these girls to their deaths. And I like it because I chose this because I love books set where I live, and I live very close to the Lake District. I live in Cumbria, so I saw this, and it's set over Halloween, this book, which makes me think that it's going to be a little bit scary. I have a feeling it's going to be full of magical realism and a bit of sort of gothic horror, nighttime, sort of bump in the night kind of vibes. That's sort of what I'm getting. So I'm going to read this over Halloween, sort of the Halloween weekend period. I'm going to read this. So yeah, this is one that I'm going to get to by the end of the year. And the last one is another M.W. Craven book, and this is Born in a Burial Ground. Before M.W. Craven wrote the Washington Post series, which started with The Puppet Show, he did this duology. This is the first book in a duology, and this is following a Detective Inspector Avison Fluke. And again, it's quite similar in sort of vibe, style, police procedural. Someone gets murdered, this guy has to figure out who done it. So it's the same kind of vibe, but it's a different detective, and he sounds a little bit crazy, this detective. I don't know how he still got a job, to be fair, because it says he's a man on the edge. He has committed a crime to get back to work, concealed an illness, and is about to be made homeless. Just as he thinks things can't get any worse, the body of a young woman is found buried on a Cumbrian building site. Shot once through the back of the head, it is a cold, calculated execution. When the post-mortem reveals she has gone to significant expense in disguising her appearance, Fluke knows this is no ordinary murder. With the help of a psychotic ex-para, a gangland leader, and a woman more interested in maggots than people. Stop right there. Maggots. Ooh, hate maggots. Fluke must find out who she was and why she was murdered before he can even think of finding her killer. And as the body count rises, Fluke realises someone somewhere has a plan. And if he can't figure out what's happening, he may well be the next victim. So, right up my street. Both of the Washington Post books by M.W. Craven, I've given 5 stars. I have high expectations that this is going to be just as gory, just as gruesome, and just as 5-star worthy as the other ones. So this is the final one that I want to get to. I've given myself 5 books to get to by the end of the year. I think that's doable. You know, even though Jeff Vandermeer is a chunker, and to be fair, Bernardine Evaristo is quite chunky, you know, but, you know, I've given myself 5. I think that's a manageable amount in, what, 6 months? I think I can do it. So, fingers crossed, that's the plan. So, that is my mid-year book freak out book tag, or whatever it is you want to call it. I enjoy doing that. I like doing book tags. I like having chatty videos. I like that. I enjoy sort of the chat more than anything. So, yay! I'm glad I've jumped on this bandwagon. I really am. Yeah, that's it, really. So, this is kind of just like a bonus, fun little video that I was meant to do on Tuesday, but because I was ill, I didn't, so you're getting it a couple of days late. But who cares? Who cares? It's here. It's here. And that's the most important thing. So anyway, I will see you on Sunday for the normal scheduled programming. And yeah, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. press subscribe. If you want to talk about anything, hit me a comment, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye guys.